Dr. O here with a training on assertiveness. Now, a training for assertiveness basically is going to be useful because it's going to stop some of this behavior that I call black or white thinking. So basically, people think they either have to, hate a person or behave very poorly with a person in an intense way or not very intense way, which we're going to talk about all of that in this training, or they think that they just don't need to be in a relationship with the person at all. And a lot of times people don't understand what the healthy medium is in conflict resolution. So that is why it's going to be important today for me to go over this material for you. Okay, so being assertive is that nice, happy piece in the middle. It is the place where you respect both yourself and the rights of other people. Okay, that's what we should all strive for anytime we're in a situation where we feel uncomfortable or disappointed. The challenge is a lot of times we don't know how to sit there because we get confused with the other variables that are often going on in the back of our heads. So one of those is being aggressive, right? So we know that being aggressive is going to include things like name calling, of course, being physically aggressive, being emotionally even negligent, like withdrawing, hiding, keeping away from the people or the person, whoever it is that's giving you the problem. All of those things can be aggressive because they are strong, intense reactions that violate other people. So you might feel like it helps you, but at the end, it violates and hurts the other person. So that's being aggressive. Now, being passive is the exact opposite of being aggressive, and that is when you withdraw so much that it might help the other person, but it might not help you. So I think when I think about that is this example comes to mind. I know somebody who's a little overweight, and people might tease them, which is not appropriate either. That person's being aggressive, right? The person who is teasing the person for being overweight is the aggressive person, but the passive person, rather than say, well, you ugly, or I'm gonna tell you what I tell my kid at the end in a little bit, but I just want to make the point first. The passive person is going to kind of withdraw and not say anything back. What happens when you do that is you accept the other person's rights, you respect their rights, but then you fall back on your own. So let me just tell you this before I get distracted, because my daughter, she's 4 years old and she's, on the heavier side, but she's finally getting to the age where it's a little sensitive to be calling her fat. So y'all don't be calling my baby fat, because she's not, and she really isn't. She's built like her mother, which is, full and healthy, but she is not fat. So we're not gonna call her that. But she did tell me that somebody called her fat, and I'm not gonna lie, I was not using my assertiveness training and skills at that time. So I told him, I said, well, you tell them that you can be fat, but they'll always be ugly. You know what I mean? Because that was my way of just clapping back and making it very clear that you're not gonna be bullying my little girl. But anyway, touche. This isn't about kids and the drama and stuff that they go through. This is really about making sure that you're putting your best foot forward in your relationships with people. So aggressive is when you're being too intense. You accept the other person's rights, but you violate your own. And being passive, I'm sorry, the aggressive person is concerned about themselves and they violate other people. The passive person is going to be concerned about the other person, but they get violated themselves. And that's the case of the person who's bullying because you're overweight, and the passive person, not saying anything back or maybe crying about it, etc. But there's a final behavior. This one, I think, is probably as much, if not more so, seen than the aggressive one. I definitely say I see aggressive behavior the most when people are upset, just cutting below the belt, saying insensitive things, name calling, hitting, whatever. I do see that the most, unfortunately. But the next most common one is really being passive aggressive. So that's when you're passive in the moment, but you turn around and do something aggressive. When I think about this, I think about, let's say somebody makes you upset and you don't say anything. You just kind of do a low key, okay, whatever, you don't stand up for yourself, and you definitely don't, rock the boat in that moment. But then you go behind that person's back and you put sugar in their tank in their car or something like that. Like, that's really aggressive. And it looks like you didn't do anything. You were being passive, but ultimately you were passive aggressive because you came up with a follow-up and did something kind of shady. So these are just a few tips that will help you. But listen, the important place that we want to be, that nice sweet spot, is right in the middle. And that's called being assertive. It includes things like being confident, being doing things with purpose, being intentional, being respectful of both your rights and the other person's right, and really getting a problem solved in a way that everyone can leave in amicably, and everyone can feel respected. All right, so this was a quick assertive training delivered directly from Dr. O to you. If you have any questions or you would like to work with me or someone in my practice, please find us. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Black Marriage and Family Therapy Matters podcast, where we connect Black families to Black therapists. Since you've listened all the way through, come on in and join the family. If you haven't done so yet, please join our free community where we offer weekly trainings and monthly giveaways. We can be found on Facebook under the Black Marriage and Families Matter Facebook group. And since you're serious about joining our family, we also invite you to join our All In campaign, which signifies your commitment to go all in, not only for yourself, but in helping us reach more people by downloading this podcast wherever you are listening to it, leaving us a review, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. This really helps us reach more people and change more lives. After all, Dr. Martin Luther King once said, we can all get more done together than we can apart. With that said, I want to encourage you to share this episode with just 3 other people who you think might also benefit from our community and what we are offering, with the hopes that all of you can join our All In campaign. When you're done, simply click the link All In campaign in the bio and receive a free copy of my course entitled Goodbye Toxicity, which is valued at $297. This course will help you to work through some of the difficult experiences that arise in most of our relationships, and it's completely free to you with your commitment to join our All In campaign. We look forward to connecting with you every Monday and Wednesday. Thanks for listening.